ladies and gentlemen, everybody, here we go for the 9.5 notes. I believe these are going to be one video. I think we can get this into one video. We'll see what happens here. So with the quadratic formula, it's been kind of leading up to this. This is kind of like the big formula we use to solve any and all quadratics. We've learned a couple methods of solving like square roots and maybe even factoring. But this is really the one that works for every quadratic. So if all of those other ones fail, then you can use this method right here, okay? So here is basically like standard form. Again, you want it in standard form from highest exponent to lowest exponent. And the quadratic formula basically is, got this right here. So negative b plus or minus b, then the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, you kind of notice the discriminant formula in here underneath the square root. That's why I kind of said you got to keep track of that. Make sure you know it. And then if you notice, negative b over 2a, that's the axis of symmetry formula. So they kind of take two formulas that we've been using and they kind of just smush them together into like one big giant equation here. So okay, so might be a little bit difficult to read, mainly because my handwriting is not very good, but here are kind of the steps I usually take for quadratic formula, okay? You don't have, these aren't in your notes. If you want to write them down, I'd recommend it. I think this way is kind of a nice little roadmap so that you can, solve it quickly without having to deal with plugging so many numbers in and dealing with a really large formula. So first thing we're going to do, just like we did with discriminant, we're going to set the equation equal to 0. If it's not equal to 0, you got to set it equal to 0. Next, find the discriminant. That's our b squared. Again, that's the b squared minus 4ac. The thing I like about this method as well is that finding the discriminant can tell you like right away, well, I don't have to do any more work. I know that this is going to be either no solutions. It can be no solutions because if it's negative, it's automatically no solutions. If it's positive or 0, we're going to take the square root of that discriminant and we're going to plug it in for the rest of the formula. All right? And I'll kind of explain that. So let's go ahead and work it out, all right? We got the quadratic formula kind of up here. So first, got to set it equal to 0. I don't see an equals 0 here. So I'd say the easiest method to move everything over would just to add this 2n over, okay? And the 2n doesn't really add to anything else here, so I'm going to do n squared plus 2n minus 99 equals 0, okay? And if we got our a value, our b value, and our c value equal to 0. So now we can go ahead and set up the discriminant. So b squared minus 4ac. Plug in the b, so that's going to be 2 squared minus 4 times 1, which is the a value, times negative 99, which is the c value. Just as we did the discriminant, I'm going to kind of split it, do this part by itself, do this part. So I got 4, and then get my calculator out here, negative 4 basically times 99. So it's going to be plus 396. If I add those together, I get 400. This number is positive, so I can go ahead and continue. I'm just going to take the square root of that and get myself 20. Now, once I do all of that work, this 20 is going to replace all of this in the formula. So if I plug into the quadratic formula, plus or minus, the 20 is going to go right here. And so all I have to fill in now is negative b here, and then 2a down here. So negative b, 2 is my v value, so I'm going to do negative 2 plus or minus 2 times my a value, which is 1. So if I simplify it even more, it's going to be negative 2 plus or minus 20 over 2. Okay? Now from there, because I have that plus or minus, I'm going to set up two fractions. I'm going to do negative 2 plus 20 over 2, and I'm going to do negative 20 minus 20 over 2. For this one, you're going to get, I'll write it over here, you're going to get 18 over 2, which is equal to 9, and then this one, you're going to be negative 22 over 2, which is equal to negative 11. So those would be your two solutions for this quadratic right here. Would be 9 and negative 11, okay? So again, that is how we set up, that's kind of my roadmap to set into using the quadratic formula. You use the discriminant first, and then we plug it in and we solve from there. Let's do this one right here. So example 4, I got to set it equal to 0. It's not equal to 0, so I would say the easiest method would say move this negative 3b squared over here. And then we'd be left with, just, well, negative 3b squared minus 12b plus 3 equals 0. Or you could even put the equals 0 out front here if you like that better. Or if you want, you could even move this 12 and 3 over. If you want to add the 12, subtract the 3, you can do that as well. It's all going to be the same. You're still going to get the same answer. Okay? Second step, set up our discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. I'm going to do negative 12 squared minus 4 times, our a is negative 3, our c is 3. Negative 12 squared is 144. Negative 4 times negative 3 is going to be positive 12 times 3. That's going to be plus 36, positive 36, so I add the 36. 144 plus 36 is going to get me 180. This is a positive number, so I'm going to square root the 180, and I'm going to get 13.4. You just only have to use one decimal. So 13.4. So if it's positive, I'm going to square root it, 13.4. This is going to go right here. So if I bring this down, plus or minus 13.4, and then I just have to fill in negative b and 2a. So what my b value here, a, b, and c, b value is negative 12, so flip that sign, it's going to be positive 12, over 2 times negative 3, which is my a value. So this turns into 12 plus or minus 13.4 over negative 6. Set up two fractions, 12 plus 13.4 over negative 6, and then 12 minus 13.4 over negative 6. All right. So if we add these together, we're going to get 25.4. I'm sorry about that. No, stop. 25.4 over negative 6. This is going to be, I believe, 1 point something, negative 1.4 over negative 6. We do that, divide that by 6. I get positive 0.2. And for this, 25.4 divided by 6, negative, I'm going to get negative 4.2 for that one. Okay? All right, so do one more method here, one more example. We're going to do example 5 now. So with this example, I need to get it equal to 0. The easiest way I can do that is I'm going to subtract this 2x to this side. So I'm left with 7x squared minus 2x plus 3 equals 0. Got to set it, have to have it equal to 0 in order to continue. All right, set equal to 0. So now I'm going to set up my discriminant. Second step, discriminant, b squared minus 4 times a times c. Okay, b value is negative 2, so I'm going to do negative 2 squared minus 4 times the a value, which is 7, times my c value, which is 3. So I'm going to do 2, split it apart. Negative 2 squared is 4. Negative 4 times 7 is going to be negative 28 times 3. Let me do some quick math off screen here. It's going to be negative 84. So I'm going to subtract 84, 4, and 84. If I do that, I'm going to get myself negative 80. So I'll write that down here. Now, I can stop right here, all right? Because this is negative. And remember, what happens when my discriminant is negative? I have, going forward, I have 0 real solutions. So I don't even have to go any further. I can just stop right here and state that I have no real solutions. And that's it, all right? Because again, what you're trying to do is you want to square root this number, and I can't square root a negative. So, no real solutions, okay? There we go. So, and I believe that is all. Yep, that's all right there. That is quadratic formula in about Yeah, 10 minutes there. So there you go. That will conclude our Unit 9 notes series for right now. That is all the methods right there. So just be on the lookout for any more videos. Reach out for any more questions. Reach out with questions if you have any. And thank you guys for watching. We will see you later.